Hi MORFIT, it's Tom here with another episode in the Tom Tries Bodybuilding video series. I'm going to tell you about how my first month of training went. So prior to starting this project, I had taken quite a bit of time off of serious weight training, doing one or maybe two workouts a week for a couple months. So I'm back at it now, and I'll let you know how that feels. It's told over the majestic backdrop of me working out. Of course, I've sped up parts of it and cut out the sets and stuff, but it's every exercise and everything that I would do in a typical hamstrings and upper body pressing workout. So everything from a bit of cardiovascular warm-up to my mobility or stability warm-up type drills, and then all the exercises that I did in this workout. Enjoy! Alright, here we go. Just starting off with a cardiovascular warm-up. And now I'll tell you about the workouts. The first week was pretty rough. I got hella sore. I did reverse lunges on, I think, the first day. They're normally a staple in my program, and they wrecked me. But I guess that's what you get for taking time off. Probably the biggest thing that I've noticed so far, well, there's three things, but one of the big things is that my range of motion has gone way down. So I've noticed this a lot in squats. I can't get to the same depth. Same thing with deadlifts. I'm not getting quite as good a hip hinge going, and definitely in my overhead shoulder flexion range is a lot less. So I have to do a lot more work before workouts to sort of warm up to get myself ready to do that. I'm putting in a lot of work outside of workouts to get that range of motion back, but my warm-ups are just way too long right now because I'm trying to get into a warm enough and loose enough position to do these movements that I want to do. So you saw my hip range that I did just before this. I'm getting to about 90 degrees in my hamstrings with hip flexion, so that's what I'm going to be able to do in my Romanian deadlifts on this workout. And then doing a bunch of crawling and inchworms. If you've ever worked out with me, you know I love those. They're great for core stability, keeping the torso solid while the arms and legs are moving. And when you go backwards, it's really good for scapular upward rotation. What I found to work really well for getting my shoulders ready to do pressing is Turkish get-ups. So I normally do around 3 with a moderate weight, and then sort of do some shoulder flexions and test where I'm at. And then grab a bit heavier weight. This is 55. This is probably my limit for 3 reps at least right now. You can see it's a bit of a struggle. And do that for 3 reps, and then do some more shoulder flexion stuff. Normally that's pretty good for a warm-up for me, but I'm still struggling a little bit with that overhead position, so I'm also doing a bit of pails and rails. I'll put a link in the description for this. So there's a good article describing this, and I'll put in a link that has some of Andrea Spina, who's the guy that sort of, I guess, popularized this with his functional range conditioning. I do kind of a quick and dirty version. I'm just getting into shoulder flexion and then flexing and extending my shoulder isometrically against resistance. And I find that helps me get a little bit more range in overhead, which lets me do shoulder presses, which I'm doing today. So this workout is a high rep day. It's part of my body part split program that I'm doing 4 days a week. 2 days per muscle group. Typically I'll do hamstrings and an upper body pushing day, and then a day with quads and glutes work combined with upper body pulling. And I'll generally alternate between a greater focus on vertical pushing or pulling on one of the days and horizontal pushing or pulling on the other day. I'm doing a daily undulating periodization scheme for reps, so I'm rolling through 3 different rep schemes. There's a high weight, low rep day for building strength. The idea is more strength allows me to work with higher submaximal weight loads on my other days. I also have a day with high reps where I have relatively lower weight, and the idea with this one is to accumulate volume, because volume is one of the biggest drivers of hypertrophy. That's what I'm doing on this day. It's a high volume or high rep day with mainly shoulders and hamstring work. I also have a third day, which is a sort of middle rep, middle weight day, the 8 to 12 range, which is okay for volume, but definitely not as good as the high rep day. And okay for strength, but definitely not as good as the strength day. Really, it's a more enjoyable workout. I don't feel like I'm going to die at the end of every set, which is good, and also tends to go a bit quicker. So if I'm running short on time for a workout, then I can do that middle rep day. Okay, so you can see how hard this set is looking or feeling for me. And I talked a little bit about soreness being kind of a pain when coming back from the gym, but I'm not complaining about that. I deserve that. What is probably more crappy about taking time away from the gym is, aside from losing range of motion, because I haven't been maintaining that, is looking at lighter weights. Like you can see here, I've dropped down from 10 pounds on each side to 5 pounds on each side. Already at 10, I was like, oh man, I'm only pressing 10 pounds on each side, and then I had to drop it down to 5 pounds on each side. And that kind of sucks to look at, but that's okay. Because I pulled out my calculator, and for my high rep day, which is geared to accumulate volume, I did some calculations, and I found that if I'm doing 20 reps with 55 pounds, that's more volume than if I can only do 16 reps with 65 pounds. So this is on the shoulder press, where you saw I had a 10-pound plate and then put 5-pound plates on afterwards. And it's the same thing with just about every single other exercise, where if I'm doing less reps with the same weight load, I'm not getting the total volume to be as high. So dropping the weight load, doing a few more reps, getting more total volume in. It's hard to think of sometimes, or hard to look at a smaller amount of weight, but I gotta remember that I have this plan where I have days where I get to do the high weight, and that's my strength day. So on my day where I'm accumulating volume, I have to be okay with doing less weight for more reps to accumulate that volume. Plus, I know that as long as I'm working hard with every weight load, I'm still going to get muscular adaptation. Taking my sets to technical failure. So when I lose good form, or even just taking them to fatigue, I don't always hit technical failure by the end of a set, which is nice. I just can't do anymore. And if I'm doing that, then I know that even though the weight is lighter, I'm still going to drive that muscular adaptation that's going to accumulate volume and help me put on some size. I also know that when I'm consistent, that the weight loads will come back up because I'll be getting stronger. So I just have to wait and be consistent. I had a bit of a hard time getting my workouts in, or 4 workouts in every week this month. I just had a lot of stuff going on, and I found a lot of excuses for not working out. Fortunately, now that we're in August, it'll be harder to make excuses to not hit the gym. I just moved into an apartment downtown. I live pretty close to both gyms, so if I can't fit a workout in around my work day while I'm at the gym, I know that I can just walk to MORFIT downtown later in the day. It takes me about 5 minutes, so by the time I think I could be working out right now, 10 minutes later, I am working out, which is really nice, and it's way more convenient than having to drive half an hour each way to get to the gym at the end of the day. So my excuse list for not working out is getting smaller and smaller, which is going to make my muscles bigger and bigger, I hope. And then the other part, so I'm putting in the work in the gym. And the other thing that I have to do is now make sure that I'm eating appropriately so that the work that I do in the gym can help me gain some size, allow that hypertrophy to happen. So I'm eating a bit more on the days that I work out. And the days that I don't work out, it's the same type of food generally, but a little bit more. I'm working on a video that will show you sort of a day in the food life of me. And that's just when I have a few minutes to put it together. I'll clip it up and trim it up and stick that up on the channel so you can watch that. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to be a little bit less repetitive than I was in the other one, and just give you an idea of sort of how the program's going so far. What does the program actually look like in terms of resistance training for me? Sort of share with you the struggles, and I've said a few things about struggles with excuses of not getting to the gym, with decreased range of motion, with less weight loads, with a little bit of initial soreness. But I should also say it's really nice to be back in the gym, and it's nice to be doing this bodybuilding show that gives me real motivation to get in the gym. I do sometimes have motivation issues getting into the gym, like many people out there have a hard time getting in the gym or have an easy time finding other things to do than go to the gym and work out. But it feels really good to be in the gym working out again. And just looking forward to seeing the changes as they start to happen. All right. Thanks for watching. That was the first month of my workouts as told by me. Keep the feedback coming. Let me know what you like about the videos or what you don't like so I can make the viewing experience more enjoyable. And if you like them, you might want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll get the videos delivered straight to your YouTube whenever I make them, which is probably every month or so for now. Later.